Hurricane Debbie washes over $1 million worth of cocaine onto a Florida beach. A Florida woman assaults her husband with a burrito. A Florida woman blames her DUI on some storm winds. And a Florida man steals over $1,000 worth of sex toys. These are the weird stories for Friday on Weird AF News. They're all from Florida because it's Friday. And on Friday, it's Florida. Florida Friday. Hurricane Debbie washes cocaine onto a Florida beach, a lot of it. A developing tropical cyclone in the Gulf of Mexico left behind a peculiar sight along a beach in the Florida Keys. More than 24 packages of cocaine washing ashore. I would not call that a peculiar sight. Cocaine often washes up on Florida beaches. This particular group of party packages washed up in the Florida Keys, giving a whole new meaning for key bumps. Stupid. What I'd like to know is how come cocaine never washes up on the beaches that I hang out with? I never find any. Can I get a little? Just a little? I'm not asking for much. Just to come across some Florida kilos. I'm late on my rents. We got here a representative for the U.S. Customs and Border Protection who claimed that they were alerted to 25 packages of the drugs by a Good Samaritan. You gotta love these Good Samaritans that turn in the cocaine and all the drugs they find. It makes you wonder, like, how many of these packages don't get reported by the Good Samaritans? And then how many of the Good Samaritans put a little on the side before they call the authorities? Hey, police, you need to get to the beach right away. I'd like to report 25 packages of cocaine. The police arrive, and he's like, yes, as I was saying, the 22 packages of cocaine are over there near that sand dune. Now, it is believed that the packages were washed ashore by Tropical Storm Debbie as she passed west of the islands. I guess you could say this is the one incident where this tropical storm manifested itself as a snowstorm in a way. According to the agency, the drugs weighed about 70 pounds and have a street value of over $1 million total. Photos were released of the packages of cocaine by acting chief patrol agent for the Border Patrol's Miami sector, showing these bricks with a red triangle logo, which could be a marking of a drug hauler or a cartel from a foreign nation. Yeah, they got little logos on them, it looks like. I suppose this is the drug cartel's way of marking their wares. The authorities did not state where they believed the drugs originated or how long they had been in the ocean. And I'd imagine they're pretty soggy. You think this is some soggy blow? Although probably not. They wrapped them tighter than a squirrel's butthole, I'd imagine. But if they do get soggy, can you just put it in the microwave and dry it out a bit? I don't know what you do with soggy blow. Anybody have tips on that? In case I come across some packages? I'm just kidding. I would turn it over to the authorities. I would immediately call the authorities, you know? What am I going to do with 70 pounds of cocaine? Come on, I don't need that in my life at all. This particular article claims that tropical storms and hurricanes that impact the Sunshine State of Florida have a very long history of unearthing artifacts and washing ashore very peculiar items. And thankfully, when the contraband washes to shore, it's often found by a Good Samaritan who brings it into the authorities where it should go. The police know exactly what to do with this contraband. The Florida police made a statement saying, today we were informed that the storm washed up 25 packages of cocaine onto the beach. That is 10 packages of cocaine that will thankfully never make it to the streets. We're going to be checking in about 5 bags of cocaine into evidence, and then next week we'll be destroying that one pesky bag of drugs that washed up during the hurricane. A Florida woman assaults her husband with a burrito after an argument over Taco Bell and McDonald's. A Florida lady in Pinellas County was taken to jail after she allegedly struck her husband of 5 years with food during an argument over the weekend. We have here the police department arresting 34-year-old Isha Persad on a battery charge. Battery with a burrito. It's a burrito battery. According to an arrest affidavit, the incident happened shortly after midnight on Saturday at the couple's home. Persad and her husband got into an altercation because she bought him some Taco Bell and McDonald's for his birthday. That sounds like a great birthday present. I don't see what the source of the altercation could be. Perhaps she didn't come back with some sauces, I'm guessing. Both of those orders require sauces. I'm a Taco Bell medium spice guy. And as far as McDonald's sauces goes, I can put sweet and sour on just about anything. I honestly, I could put a severed finger in sweet and sour sauce from McDonald's and eat that, and it would be delicious. I don't condone cannibalism. I'm just saying, if I had to, what's that movie where they're all trapped on a mountain and they got to eat each other? Yeah, I'm not saying I want to get down eating my hiking partners, but I'm saying if it has to go down and there's some McDonald's sweet and sour sauce, I might try. Now back to the story. We have details, real details about the food items that were allegedly thrown at the poor victim. It was a burrito and a soft shell taco. Thank God it wasn't that hard taco. Those things can really cause some damage. You can cut your face up or maybe splice open an iris. You don't want your iris spliced open by a hard taco. It's rough stuff right there. Although from my understanding, I had an eye incident fairly recently. I spoke to an eye doctor who said your eye actually heals quicker than most areas on the body. So that's good to know. Anyways, I'm just saying, if you were wondering what body part heals very quickly, it's the eye. Okay. Now, the the details from the affidavit say it's unclear if both of the food items were thrown, meaning they don't know if the burrito was thrown or the soft shell taco. I'm sure there's some camera footage that you could consult. Everything's on camera these days. Okay. The report states that a burrito was still on the man's face when the police arrived at the scene. Well, clearly then the burrito was thrown, although maybe she just mashed him in the face with the burrito. It says the man was not injured. Are you sure about that? Those burritos can be of a very warm temperature. You should check for burns and lacerations. According to the police, Persad claims she threw a burrito at her husband because he threw a bag at her. Doesn't say a bag of what was in the bag. She was booked into the Pinellas County Jail. I want to know what this argument was about. It doesn't say. Details, guys. There's a lot to unpack here, and they're not giving us the info. Did the birthday boy not like Taco Bell or McDonald's? What kind of person doesn't like Taco Bell or McDonald's? Strange. It'd be nice to have some more context. Like, what did she give him last birthday? Did she bring Portos for him? And now this year it's Taco Bell and McDonald's? I mean, that's a big letdown if you're expecting some Portos. Do you guys know about Portos? Whoa, the things I could do to some Portos on my birthday. Now, I guess one could make an argument, too, that, if you're a Florida man, just be happy you're getting anything for your birthday that isn't hepatitis. A Florida drunk driver blamed the strong storm winds for her failed sobriety test. A Florida woman was arrested in Citrus County after the sheriff pulled her over with multiple open alcohol containers as Hurricane Debbie was roaring outside. We got the Sheriff Mike Pendergrass, who was on his way to assess the impact of Hurricane Debbie on some roads when he noticed a possibly impaired driver. He noticed the motorist spinning her wheels at a stoplight in the lane next to him, and once the light turned green, the driver began to drive very erratically. That's when Sheriff Pendergrass pulled the car over and called for some backup. As he approached the vehicle, Pendergrass could smell the odor of alcohol from the driver's breath and noticed she had some slurred speech going on. The driver was Florida woman Candace Wisecup, age 38. She was asked to step out of the vehicle, at which point the sheriff and deputies on scene noticed several open containers in her front seat. They found 3 empty shooters of liquor, an open can of beer, and a 4th unopened shooter. I'm looking at a photo of the contraband. Shows the beer and the 4 shooters. They call them shooters in Florida. Where I'm from, we call them nips. They're very tiny bottles of hard liquor. There's also her phone's on the seat. Looks like the phone has had better days, too. Seems like Wisecup is just struggling during this Hurricane Debbie in more ways than one. Now, it says here that Florida lady Wisecup was asked to perform a field sobriety test, and she apparently performed very poorly that field sobriety test. And when asked to walk in a straight line, she could not walk in a straight line. and she blamed the storm winds for her not being able to walk in a straight line. I mean, if we're being honest, she's not wrong. Those storm winds can be very strong. They can blow you around like a little rag doll out there. I remember a storm wind that was really particularly brutal. This past winter, it blew me right into some shots of tequila. It wasn't my fault. I had no intentions of taking those shots of tequila, but the storm just blew me right to them. You know, you got to give this Florida woman some props. I mean, anytime you can try and blame your drunken state on natural disasters, you got to do it, right? I'm not stumbling, officer. This is an earthquake, you know? You smell alcohol on my breath? No, that's not alcohol on my breath. Those are the Captain Morgan rum winds that are coming in from the sea. Smelling like rum, you know? Now, according to the police, Wise Cup refused to submit a breathalyzer test and was found to be driving on a suspended license. Yeah. All she needs is to be naked to have... All she needs is to be butt naked to complete the trifecta of Florida woman weekend activities. We have a quote from Sheriff Pendergrass here. Unfortunately, while natural disasters like Hurricane Debbie are barreling down on our county, some citizens believe that law enforcement isn't watching their behaviors. Well, thankfully, Wise Cup was caught and put behind bars before hurting anyone or causing any damage. This should remind everyone that our team is always here to ensure your safety, regardless of the weathers.
Let's rock.
A Florida man steals sex toys from an adult store. A Florida man was caught on surveillance video stealing over $1,000 worth of adult toys from a North Fort Myers sex shop this week. The burglary occurred at a place called Tender Moments. Tender Moments. You guys remember that song? It's a good, early 90s R&B jam. Oh, no, it's Tender Kisses. Tender Kisses. Gone tomorrow, gone today. Okay, enough of that. Sorry. Now, the Lee County Sheriff's Office reported that the thief broke a glass door to enter the sex shop. Surveillance footage shows the suspect arriving at almost midnight, returning at 1 a.m. and again at 2 a.m. The suspect stole approximately $1,000 worth of items, including around 30 male enhancement pills and a $300 sex doll as well. The owner of the store, Angela Wynn, recounted what happened from watching the surveillance video. The burglar headed straight for the male section, stole a female torso off the wall, then returned with a duffel bag to grab some more items. I happened to take a peek at that surveillance video, and this thief makes a beeline right to the back of the store and grabs a sex doll and runs out, as though this individual had his or her eye on the sex doll for a bit. Just knew exactly where they were going, what they wanted. Then the thief runs back in and goes right to the male enhancement pill section, grabs a bunch of those, throws them in a bag. This person was like, I'm getting rid of this virginity tonight if it's the last thing I do. Bro, what's the horniest you've ever been? Well, there was this one time. I'm not proud of it, but let's just say I took a brick, threw it through the glass window of a sex shop, but, I had quite a night, I'm not going to lie. The police ask if anybody has information about the missing items to please contact them or the owner of Tender Moments. I'm guessing the owner doesn't want some of this stuff back. The police are like, yeah, we found your doll. Would you like to claim it? Nah, we're good. Hi, my friends and my loyal listeners of the Weird AF News Podcast. Thank you so much for spending some time with your buddy Jonesy. And I want to thank everybody who sent me Florida stories the past couple days. That was very, very helpful and very generous of you. Thank you for thinking of me. You made my job a little easier in my effort to make this a suitable Florida Friday episode. If you guys ever want to send me anything, my email is funnyjones@gmail.com, or you can go into my Instagram DMs. Just slide right in there, @funnyjones. Show tonight if you're in Southern California, Long Beach Laugh Factory. It's the late show, 9:30, 9:45, something like that. If you're interested in being placed on the guest list, please email me, funnyjones@gmail.com. Love to have you as a guest. But don't forget, it's a 2-drink minimum, man. 2-drink minimum. Always a 2-drink minimum at the comedy club, man. Let's give a shout out to Kelly Cardwell, or as we say in Boston, Kelly Cardwell. Kelly Cardwell bought me a coffee. It's not Dunkin's, but it's just as friggin' good. She wrote me a note to it. It took me all week, Jonesy. The French dude could call it, quote, Tony's Pony Wrangler. Don't worry, the kids were asleep when I was listening. Hey! With some laughy faces. So very funny message from Kelly Cardwell. Long-time listener, fan, supporter of the show. Kelly's bought me coffees in the past as well. You're wondering, like, well, how do I buy you coffee, Jonesy? How do I do that? Because I want to keep you caffeinated inside that closet, man. I want to get you some cold brew, brother, so that you can stay caffeinated and cool in the closet at the same time, bro. Well, that's very easy. Just go to my website, weirdafnews.com, and click on the Buy a Coffee logo. It's like a little banner on the front page. It's right next to the Patreon, which is another way to support the show. By the way, I'm trying to put together this Patreon Fantasy Football League, so if you're into it, those of you who haven't joined the Patreon and want to get in on that, you should do it. Join the Patreon and then get in on the Fantasy Football League because I think it could be fun. I'm going to put it out there. It's like everybody against me, and if you beat me, I'll send you a gift. How about that? Isn't that fun? I don't think anybody's going to beat me, but you can try. You could try. The Patreon can be joined by going to patreon.com/weirdafnews. Or, as I said, the weirdafnews.com website, or download the Patreon app on your phone. Do a search for Weird AF News. As far as interest goes, I got about 7 people so far interested in it, but we need a few more. I want to do a 12-man league if possible. If I got to settle for a 10, I'll settle for a 10. But, like, this could be fun. You could join us in there and be a part of the very first Weird AF News Fantasy Football League. I think that might be fun. Anyways, I hope you're having a nice weekend, or you had one, or you're going to have one. And good luck with your life, man.